In this episode, Golden and I discuss Batwoman Season 1, Full Speed Ahead. Welcome to the Omega Beam number 81. I'm your host, Oren Merton. Hey, did you know that there's a words section on theomegabeam.com? There is. I don't write too many blogs or essays, but when there's something noteworthy, I'll usually write it there and link to it on social media. If you follow one of the social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you've probably run across some links every now and again. So we recorded all of these CW superhero discussions before the murder of George Floyd and all the subsequent protests. And we debated if we should re-record our intros or just stop posting for a while, because there's no way that we could say anything meaningful about all the tragedy and the need for equality in just a 10-minute TV show podcast. Anyway, we decided to keep these as they are, and we hope that you enjoy a few minutes of superhero fun. If you'd like to know our thoughts in depth, I did write an essay specifically addressing the burning down of Uncle Hugo's, one of the oldest and I believe first science fiction specialty bookstores in the USA. It was burned down by white supremacists during all this chaos and mayhem. You can check out that essay if you want to at theomegabeam.com/uncle-hugos, Hugos. Other than that, let me just say that this episode is about Batwoman, who is an out lesbian superhero. That's something they don't shy away from in the series, because even though these are really fun action stories, they also are morality tales that try and point us in the direction of being our own hero. We don't wear capes and cowls, but we can still do our share to promote equality in our institutions, in our communities, in our lives. And if Batwoman teaches us anything, it's that Black lives matter, gay lives matter, Asian lives matter, the citizens of Gotham's lives matter, everyone matters. No one is expendable. All right, so with that said, we've got minimal spoilers, and let's get to it. I am here with Golden to talk about Batwoman Season 1. Another one of the Arrowverse shows that ended prematurely due to shutdown. There were supposed to be 22 episodes. Only 20 got completed. So, what did you think of Season 1 of Batwoman?
I really enjoyed Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how I've been feeling about the other shows, Batwoman was meeting expectations.
Okay.
Ironically, the one character I wasn't as invested in was Batwoman, but the rest of the cast was really good. And Ruby Rose was doing a good job. She filled in the character's shoes well.
Her boots. Yeah.
Yes, she filled in the boots. She filled the boots well. However, there was just always something that was standoffish about her portrayal.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think, like most of the Arrowverse shows, there's something to be said about the casting. And we'd said repeatedly that the woman who plays Alice, who plays her sister,
Rachel Skarsten,
was just fantastic.
No, she is. She's
was
incredibly good.
It was basically her show in some ways, and just does an amazing job. And the supporting cast was wonderful. And yeah, I mean, she certainly was Batwoman. I mean, she pulled it off, but it does say something when the supporting cast really draws your eyes as opposed to the lead of the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Nicole Kang plays Mary Hamilton, her stepsister, and she owns the role.
Oh, yes.
I mean, she's just extremely entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Fox is played by Cameron Johnson. He's good. I've been a fan of Dougray Scott for a very long time. So that just, he does a really good job as her father.
Mm-hmm.
The supporting cast is really, really great.
Yeah.
The gentleman that plays Hush also is someone that I was a fan of from Revenge.
So. Yeah, the cast is really good. I thought the stories were good. It changed from my expectations in the comics because Batwoman was one of my favorite comic characters. And in the comic, Dad is her man in the cave. And in this one, they're kind of antagonistic. And Luke, the son of Lucius Fox, is her man in the cave. And it was an interesting dynamic. And at first I was a little resistant, but I got into it. I was like, oh, I like this new dynamic. I think they did it well for the show. And I think they set up Gotham City of the Arrowverse in a nice way. I got a kick out of the fact the main radio caster that sort of sets up the episodes in a way is Rachel Maddow, who is a huge Batwoman fan. And in fact, in the collected Batwoman, she wrote the introduction. So I thought it was really nice that they let her kind of, in a way, almost be the narrator, but be kind of the talk show host who sort of lets you know what the town is thinking. And I thought that was a perfect role for her.
I forgot that Julia was Pennyworth.
Ah, yes.
Until just now, and I'm looking at the cast.
Alfred's daughter or niece or whatever. I thought her character was not one of my favorites, but it was fine because I thought it was so
cute when we watched the pilot at Comic-Con last year. How it starts out, and I'm sorry for those of you that haven't seen the pilot yet. This will be a slight spoiler. But to me, it's like, okay, well, they're missing Dodgson from the Crows.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, well, I know where Dodgson's with Alice.
Right.
That makes complete sense because Lewis Carroll's name is Charles Ludwig Dodgson.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very literate show. I mean, for basically a fun action show, it was pretty literate, and the characters had some pretty meaty dialogue and to get into. And I think this was a cut above in some ways. I think a lot of the Arrowverse shows, in some of the previous episodes, we've kind of been a little bit disappointed with the arcs of, seasons, but they're always sort of seasons that are later in the game, season 5, season 6. Whereas I think almost all of these shows in season 1 were really hungry and on it and with it. And I think that Batwoman, it really was hungry and it showed.
Passing, thinking about the other shows, and that the passing thought is that the other shows, the seasons felt drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I feel like they just packed a whole bunch into 20 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. I and like the others,
but it wasn't. I didn't feel rushed.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It felt right.
Yeah, they moved quickly, but the pacing felt good. And
go ahead.
Like the others with 2 more episodes that didn't get filmed, I'm very curious to see if season 2, it was greenlit for season 2 in 2021, if it's going to use these shows to kind of wrap up season 1 and then do a season 2, or if they'll be rolled into what season 2 will end up being. I think it's, in a way, while I'm disappointed that due to the situation in the world, all of these shows are down a couple shows at the end, I do think it does open up story possibilities, and that might be interesting. That might get story juices flowing.
And it gives them a little bit longer to recast Batwoman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was very sad to hear. I mean, like I said, the supporting cast really holds it together for me.
Right.
Alice is, like you said, it kind of feels like it's the Alice show.
Yeah.
I was sad to hear that Ruby Rose decided this just wasn't for her.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that she's leaving it, that they were like, okay, it's okay for you to just go ahead and walk away.
Yeah, it was mutual.
That's kind of what I've heard.
Yeah, well, all the writing, all the official statements have been that this was a mutual decision.
But it also, she shouldn't have had to be in situations where, and no actors or actresses or stunt people should be in situations where they end up almost they end up in a accident or getting harmed on set that could completely, alter the rest of their life.
Well,
I know stunt people, they know that those are the risks, but still.
In fact, I believe that on the set of Batwoman, there was a stunt person who died.
There was a stunt person that I think if I remember correctly, I apologize to those listeners if I don't. It was a stunt person that got pulled in, and she just wasn't, seemed like from the things I read, she wasn't really ready for the stunt.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it anyway. And it was very sad. I think that no stunt is worth, no us watching anything is worth someone dying or having their life that affected for the rest of it.
And Ruby Rose was injured a couple times.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, very seriously. And there was a death on the set, and she was apparently didn't feel that she was ready for the workload. And it seems like it was just one of those things where she thought she was up for the part, and after living it for a while,
it was a little bit too much.
Yeah, she realized she wasn't. Yeah, so it gives.
Yeah, this is not Tom Cruise, deciding that he's going to bankroll his own movie and decide he's going to jump across that, that big distance and, whatever.
Yeah, but this does, on the one hand, it's really weird because a lot of ancillary characters end up getting recast over time in some of these shows, but rarely is it number one on the call sheet. Rarely is it the star. But the flip side is because so much of this, not this, just this, but so much of a superhero show, they are in costume. In a way, it kind of is a little bit easier in a sense that
maybe her stunt double is going to get the part.
Yeah, you never know, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But both of us had said that though Ruby Rose was absolutely fine as Batwoman and filled the shoes, she was not the best part of this show. And she was not the actress or actor that kept everybody watching. So maybe this gives them another opportunity to cast somebody who will be their Grant Gustin or, their Stephen Amell, Melissa Benoist, Katie Lotz. Maybe she will be the next Batwoman, will be the one who carries it for X number of seasons and will be that number one on the call sheet that everybody loves.
Yeah, it looks like the stunt double for Ruby Rose. I mean, she's done a lot. Her name is Melissa Jin. She's been in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. She's Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Wu Assassins, Skyscraper. She's a very prolific stunt double, it looks like.
Oh, very nice. I don't know her history, but I do know that Warner Brothers and the Berlanti company has specifically said they are looking for an LGBTQ star. So I don't know anything about Melissa, but maybe she fits the bill.
Well, it looks like she keeps to stunts. There's still there were a lot of different storylines, and there was like a storyline thread running through, but then all these little ones that kept it also moving along.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good season.
Yeah. I hope that season 2 lives up to it, and I hope the new Batwoman does as well or better.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Normally in this kind of not that this is a normal situation, but this is exactly the kind of thing that you would expect them to roll out on a Comic-Con, but there's probably not going to be any Comic-Cons before 2021 when these shows come back. So they'll be announcing it online.
So I'm looking up Rachel Scarston. Have you looked her up before?
No.
So apparently she was Dinah Lance in Birds of Prey.
Interesting. In the original Birds of Prey, the one season from years and years ago.
So that's interesting. So she's kind of back to the world.
Yeah. DC has welcomed her back.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure that I've probably seen her in other things before, but I think in this particular role, she is just shining.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, you watched Lost Girl.
I did.
She was Tamsin.
Oh, how about that? Didn't remember.
So Batwoman, looking forward to season 2?
Yep, I am. Thank you, Golden.
You're welcome.
That's it for this episode. You can find the show notes at theomegabeam.com/81. If you liked this episode, please leave a review in the Apple Podcasts app or wherever you listen to podcasts, because it's your reviews that help other people find our podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions, please drop us a line at info@theomegabeam.com. Be good to yourselves and each other, and we'll catch you next time.